Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary for the last 5 years. I am your host and superior webhead master, Jarod Bachman-Stubbs, and I am joined by our favorite adjunct professor pinch hitter from across the pond, the anime probe, Mitch 692 of his own titular channel, Mitch 692, and co-host of the Comic Book Cast. Hello.
You called me a probe.
Pro.
You said buh.
No, I
You're a
didn't.
probe. You did. I'm gonna watch this back and comment if you did or not.
You better. You better.
Mm.
Everybody, get in the comments.
I'll forget. But
Everybody, get in the comments and prove that I'm right. A little bit of housekeeping before we jump into the show. Folks, this will be coming out on Sunday the 13th, after which, stay tuned for the channel. You guys are going to be getting 3 live streams this coming week. In the morning, not sure on the time yet. I think I have it scheduled for 11 a.m. That's just a placeholder. Around that time approximately, I will be in Kentucky live with friend of the show, Bill Sheehy, breaking down the news coming out of Star Wars Celebration 2025, all the way in Chiba, Japan. It kind of works out perfectly that when we all lay our heads to rest at night, Thursday, and then Friday, and then Saturday, all kinds of Star Wars news is going to break while we are snoozing. So we'll be able to wake you guys up in the morning with a quick news roundup so you guys can get in the know about what's going on at Star Wars Celebration. I'm also going to try to get them uploaded into the podcast feed as well. But I will be doing it with my other laptop, not the one that just kind of lives in this room for the show. It'll be with the one that I actually take on the go with me. But
2 laptops in this economy? Wow.
It's okay.
Wow.
I got them a very long time ago.
Well, getting you one before the tariffs kick in. Or,
yeah.
You got,
no, because I was
options
thinking
on
about.
those.
I was thinking about upgrading because this summer we should be finishing making this so that I can start doing video essays and stuff. And I was like, maybe I should maybe it's time for me to upgrade. Get like a full PC and. That kind of be the one that lives in here. And then, I have a spare with a bunch of podcast stuff on it. And God forbid anything ever happen. But I was like, maybe not. And then, the global economy decided that it was going to be held at gunpoint. And I was like, maybe not. Maybe you're not going to do that.
I mean, you got 90 days to make your mind up.
I mean, here's my thing. I made that decision. I can tell you exactly when. It was right whenever Moon Knight began. It wasn't because of Moon Knight, but I remember watching Moon Knight on my other laptop, and it was because I didn't want to have to live in the studio to work on a computer. Because the old studio, for those of you who remember, when I was still living with my family, we built that in our garage, and it was like a 12 by 12 building in a building, and when it was hot, it got real fucking hot. And when it was cold, it got real fucking cold. And
same as this.
Yeah, and I just was like, I would like to have a computer in my room, so that I could just kind of sit down and use a laptop at my leisure. So I have and it's a Chromebook. It's a Chromebook laptop. It's nothing impressive. But I just have that for when I need to write something or I need a computer on the move. So I got to actually install a file converter on that laptop because I don't record with it ever. It is fully just for anything else that I don't want to have to I also don't want to disconnect this from the camera and the soundboard and the monitor.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
All of that to say, Star Wars Celebration live recaps Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Stay tuned for that. Should end up in the podcast feed. Will be on the YouTube feed. Very excited for it. Please stay tuned. And then after everybody gets back from their respective vacations, me from Kentucky, a bunch of our friends from Japan. But China's on the mind with the tariffs. Once everybody gets back from Japan, I do plan on having some of our friends who will have been abroad to talk about the convention, not just the news, but the vibes in Chiba. So that's main bit of sizzle. What'd you say?
I said I'm sure they'll be at 125% when they get back.
I'm gonna give it like many days. I mean, I do have some friends who are on go mode. I also have people who are coming back sooner than others. Because I have people who their trip ends with Celebration.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
That like they're doing all the Japan sightseeing tourist stuff now, and then they're gonna close out with Celebration and then come home. And then those are some of the people I'm going to try to weasel onto the show. But like I said, sizzle. Tomorrow night, you should expect Balin Skull and Shin Hati versus Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano in your Patreon feed, finally. Tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that as well. We'll also be tomorrow night at Record. It'll already be in your podcast feed by now. And if it isn't, feel free to call me a lying cocksucker in the comments below. But yeah, with all that said, before we jump into the news, one last thing. Quick word from our sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill. Sunday's Bloody Mary has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice ain't for you. If you want to step up your Bloody Mary game forever, use the link in the description down below and get the only Bloody Mary better than a from-scratch Bloody Mary at sundaysbloodymary.com/shop and use the code TNAP at checkout to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Mitch.
Jarod.
You a Nintendo guy?
I like me some Nintendo. I do like me some Nintendo. I do have a Switch, actually. So
okay.
Not that I'm used to singing H.
Well, no, I mean, I got a Switch. I wasn't a pandemic Switch guy. I was like, I hate saying the pandemic is over. Because I know it isn't. It's just like we've all gone back to normal life, and that is its own bag of cats, and how we interact with that. But I was a 2021 Switch buyer. I wanted to play Smash. I wanted to play Ultimate Alliance. I plan on getting the Star Wars Heritage Collection for myself. I got it for my little sister for Christmas a couple years ago.
Nice.
Because she got super into playing my older Star Wars games. And are you familiar with the Heritage Collection?
Possibly, but not off the top of my head.
So it just astounded me. Now, granted, it was the Aspire remasters, which I have a lot of fucking opinions about Aspire anymore. But for like $50, it was the Aspire remasters of Force Unleashed, KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2, Republic Commando, Bombad Racer, Jedi Academy, and Jedi Outcast. Like,
I loved Bombad Racer as a kid.
That is such a great pure Mitch take.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was like
back in the days of everything had to have a karting game. Oh, it was so good.
But it was like $50 for like 7 certified fucking Star Wars classics.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. So I keep saying I want to get one for myself because my Baldur's Gate kick. I'm waiting for patch 8 to come out, so I haven't touched Baldur's Gate in weeks.
Have you not?
In like 2 weeks, I haven't. It may not say that on PlayStation because Taylor keeps playing.
I was about to call the motherfucker out here. I was like, "Excuse me, Jarod.
It may not say so.
I have seen man's name online with Baldur's Gate 3 on it
several
times in the past weeks. I will let you off.
Yeah,
convenient excuse. Let's just throw it out there.
That's been Taylor. I'm waiting for patch 8. I'm doing my for any other Baldur's Gate people out there. I'm working on my Dark Urge playthrough. And I am the way I built my Dark Urge, because I'm doing them is like I'm doing like I'm doing like a Pact of the Blade Warlock. So like it's like 50-50 martial, 50-50 magic.
Mm.
Which is how I like it. You know, I don't because I tried Sorcerer. I said this on CBC. I tried Sorcerer and I fucking hated it. Because like the canon Dark Urge is a Sorcerer Dragonborn, and I was not having a good time. I was doing horrible things, and the gameplay was not satisfying for me. So now the gameplay is incredibly satisfying for me, and I feel way less bad about doing horrible things because I'm having fun doing it. But I want to multi-class him into Rogue because I'm about to get sweaty here. So for the Dark Urge playthrough, there's like the origin characters in the game, which are all the companions everybody loves. The only origin character in the game who you cannot recruit as a companion is the Dark Urge. And it's a whole it's basically like the ultimate, resisting the pull to evil or fully succumbing to it if you're not playing your own character. But there's certain things you can only get doing the Dark Urge. Like there's this cape you unlock called I think it's the Death Stalker Mantle.
Yeah.
Where every time you kill somebody, you turn invisible for a turn. And I'm like, I want to multi-class him into Rogue because then like sneak attack will go fucking crazy. Anyway, but they're adding a new Rogue subclass called Swashbuckler, and I've already built my guy around being a sword fighter. So I'm like, I don't even want to touch it. I don't want to touch it until I'm ready to go.
That's fair.
So that's been Taylor. I've been on my kick playing a bunch of Star Wars Legends games because I'm excited for my tattoo at the end of the month. And that's why I went the Heritage Collection. All of that to say, Nintendo Switch 2.
It's a pricey boy.
It's a pricey boy, and we got lots of news about it. I had a Nintendo phase as a kid. I was lucky enough to have a Wii.
I just realized that sentence. Oh my
What?
I had Nintendo phase as a kid. I was lucky to have a Wii. Like, I'm old. That's where I was going. It's just like I hear that sentence, but it's N64, not the Wii. Like,
Yeah, it was the Wii. I was like 12.
Surprised my hair didn't just grey over there.
Yeah, I was a 12-year-old with a Wii. So I got a Switch. I also had a DS and a Game Boy Advance, but the Wii was kind of like the main era of Nintendo for me. But we are reading from this is like the most comprehensive one I found from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. So Nintendo Switch pre-orders were supposed to be today due to Trump declaring trade war with planet Earth. That got delayed in the States. But yeah, Mitch, so like what are you most excited for here, and like what are like the specs and the games that excite you the most here?
Honestly, at the minute, I'll start with the specs. Specs wise, I'm happy that it's a decent screen. Like the panels actually, for what it is where like the bare minimum should be at the minute. Like, what was it? 1080, 120 handheld, 4K 60. It's upscaled, sure, but when it's docked, like that's a win. I wish it was an OLED screen. I get why it's not, because business, and the OLED Switch did so well for them with the Switch 1, so they're going to have a mid-cycle refresh with that. That's fine. Game-wise, honestly, nothing they showed at the recent showcase or the direct did anything for me. No, I'm mainly a Pokemon guy for Switch. Like my Switch is virtually now exclusively a Pokemon machine. Like Legend ZA, Legend ZA. Like that's a Switch game anyway, so there's no reason for me to get the Switch 2 for that. So I can hold off. No, it's cool that they're doing the upscaling of the old games, even if they're gonna charge like everyone else is charging for them.
Isn't it only like $10 though?
They haven't actually said.
Okay,
But it's Nintendo. It will not be $10.
Okay.
I guarantee you. If it is, I'll be very surprised. Very surprised. I think they said if you buy it physically, it's 50. Like the remastered version of, say, like Tears of the Kingdom for Zelda. It's 50, but you're actually buying the old game to then use a code to unlock everything. It's a whole thing, but yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, the lineup, I know I saw my friends, Scotty Jarod, Bill Sheehy, Alden Diaz, both love Nintendo. All three of them love Nintendo stuff. So like Mario Kart World, open world Mario Kart game.
So it looks fun. It looks fun.
Mario.
I'm priced out. I ain't paying that money for that game. Like, I'm sorry. I do Mario Kart, but it's what, like $90, $80.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of like admittedly thoughtful conversation about how like the price of games has not increased in so long.
No, I've had that conversation so many times with people as well, but it's games for what they are have never gone up with inflation. They've always been really good at keeping themselves low and cheap. And since really the 90s, they never actually really got more expensive. The problem here is Nintendo going back to pre-PlayStation 1 pricing of games. Where it's like, if you think your game's worth $90, you think it's worth $90. Like Killer Instinct in the 90s before PS1 came out was $90. Because it was an old arcade game. But PS1 came out, discs cheaper, everything was a flat rate. And now we're going back to that. So I think that's more people's argument, is they're just worried that we're going to go back to that sort of a pricing system.
Yeah. Especially when they're given an excuse to, with like the trade war and everything that's about to happen. Like it is reflective of like the economy at large, like post pandemic. Like a lot of companies had an excuse to increase their prices exponentially and never brought them down.
Yeah.
And like again, like a lot of that is corporate greed. I think a lot of people economically are incapable of understanding that like there comes a point where this is not about economic policy. This is corporate greed, and there is an economic policy argument to be had, but a lot of people don't want that type of intervention from the government to inflict. So that is what it is.
Yeah.
And
it's also a fear as well, because everyone seems to accept that the plan for like GTA 6 is that game is going to be $100 off the bat, because you have the rumored budget of the thing and how long it's been taken to develop, and everyone's just like, yeah, it's going to cost 100. And then when Nintendo come out here and confirm that this is the direction that at least they're going in, it's just opened the floodgates for everything. I think a lot of it's just fear that people can get priced out of gaming, but
time will tell.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart World, like you said, open world Mario Kart game, Mario Party Jamboree, like you said, the upscales for both of the most recent Legend of Zelda games, Kirby and Forgotten Land, Metroid Prime 4. One I'm excited by, they're doing a remaster for Soul Calibur 2.
They are, yeah.
Which I'm not gonna come out here and say that I'm going to buy a Switch 2 just to play Soul Calibur 2. Did you see if they confirmed whether or not Link is still going to be in the game? I can only assume he is.
I mean, if he's not, what's the point? Right? Like,
was it 2 or 3 he was in?
Was it 2? Because it was Soul Calibur 2 that had depending what platform you're on.
Yeah, because it was Spawn. It was Spawn, Link, and
I can't think of the other one.
I think it was one of the other Tekken characters. I don't know. Possibly. But yeah. Also, Soul Calibur, Project Soul, Lucasfilm Games, Disney do a remaster.
I say it had a good lineup,
and my soul is yours. Let me play.
It's a very good lineup.
Yeah,
despite me saying that nothing really did anything for me, it's still a very good lineup, because I've seen so many people excited about it. So
yeah, absolutely. Here, I accidentally clicked out of that list here. But yes, the Street Fighter is basically getting like an Ultimate Edition for all intents and purposes. Hitman, Project 007. Yeah, like I said, it's a great lineup. WWE and NBA 2K25 and 26 are both coming.
It's basically getting Bloodborne 2 as a multiplayer, but it's not Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that was a whole thing.
I think it's
Star
just
Wars
Sony
Outlaws.
cutting themselves. Outlaws, yes.
Outlaws is coming.
I'm going to be. I'd watch how that runs on the Switch personally.
I mean, hey, after seeing how it ran on my fucking PS5, I'm sorry. Like Outlaws is one of the few games I've ever played that I did not want to come back to and be like, let's see how they fixed it. Like
That's
I have
Ubisoft.
not.
That's Ubisoft.
I say that I am waiting for Assassin's Creed Shadows to go on sale to get it.
You do yourself a disservice, Jarod.
But I just, God, Outlaws let me down so hard. But anyway, yeah, very excited for that. What was the price point? Is like what, 500 for the console currently? Trade war notwithstanding.
449 or was it 449?
It's
either 450 or 500. It was one of the two, I think.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get back to it.
Either way, if the tariffs take effect, you're looking at 700 quid or dollars for a Switch 2, which
yeah.
And I know that because I saw a thing earlier in the PS5, like just a standard base PS5 is 750. So
Nintendo revealed Switch 2 will officially be released June 5th of this year. It'll cost $449.99 USD. There will be a Switch 2 Mario Kart World bundle that will be $499.99. So
which at least they're giving you Mario Kart for half price.
Yeah.
It's not the free like they did with the Switch after a while. That's how I got 8. And I think everyone else got 8 as well because just in every Switch.
Can you still hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay, cool. You your camera did a quick and I went, oh fuck me. We're having some internet issues before we got started, folks. I got my booty hole clenched. But yeah, so very interested to see where it all comes of that. Other quick piece of news before we jump into some Daredevil talk. It's also probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, not a whole lot of news. Dune 3, this is an exclusive from Deadline, from Justin Kroll. Dune 3, legendary circling Robert Pattinson for new role in Dune Messiah.
Hell yeah.
So, even as Denis Villeneuve puts the finishing touches on the script for the next installment in Dune, the director already has his sights set on a new addition to the all-star ensemble. While sources close to the project say no formal offer has been presented, Deadline is hearing that there is strong interest in Robert Pattinson joining the cast. Legendary had no comment. So, are you familiar enough with Dune lore to have a speculation?
I know that
Paul was
a Sandworm man. That's about it.
Okay.
Spoilers for a book they're never going to adapt. I hope they don't, because how dumb.
I kind of want them to.
The only way I'll accept it if it's Tim Chalamet just in like a worm bodysuit.
Like everybody who goes to a Comic-Con is Shai Hulud.
Yeah. And just his face is just cut out like that.
Chalamet! Anyway. Yeah, very interested to see where that goes. I love the Dune films. I am not a Dune head. Like Spencer and Joel and Scotty, that's not like it's a series that I'm happy enough with, like keeping up with the film adaptation of. I might finally circle back and read the books before Dune Messiah comes out. But yeah, very exciting stuff. But our main topic today, Daredevil, penultimate episode. Mitch, you're fresh out of it. How are you feeling?
That was tense.
Yeah.
That was tense. The second he stepped on the stairs to go, I'm just going to jump to the end here. The second he stepped on the stairs to go into the dance, I was just like locked in, leaning forward.
Matt? Yeah. No,
just like, what's going to happen here?
This episode was so good. I will say, this isn't a criticism. This was like a potential criticism I thought I was going to end up having that I'm so happy didn't end up coming to fruition. One moment. Mitch, keep talking.
About what?
Daredevil. Never mind.
Daredevil?
But
you're pausing it there. Sorry,
I know. I'm sorry. I had to text Taylor back about the Wi-Fi router. No. So when they did they put a post on social media of the previously on and the previously on for the episode. I had a like PTSD flashback to Mandalorian season 2 because Mando season 2 was so bad about spoiling itself with every previously on. Like cartoonishly, the worst offender was the tragedy, which I think is a great episode of The Mandalorian, and it is one that it is the reason why I have stopped watching the previously ons. Because I think I like them. I think they're fun. But Mando called so much attention to teeing up that Boba Fett was going to show up.
Oh yeah, I remember them doing it.
And
yeah. I was like, "What's he talking about?" I can't remember. I was like, "Oh yeah."
We were verifying that there were technical difficulties and no longer are. But no, but because they called attention to Fennec Shand being rescued by a mysterious figure at the end of the Gunslinger in season 1, and then the previously on ends with Boba Fett turning around and looking at the camera from the season 2 premiere, and I just I wish so bad I had to watch that episode or that previously on, because then I could have had the excitement of, oh fuck, Boba Fett. Especially after season 2 had so many leaks. We knew about Bo-Katan, we knew about Boba Fett, we knew about Cobb Vanth. Inexplicably, the only one we didn't know about was goddamn Luke Skywalker, which is one of my favorite pieces of modern Star Wars lore, is that they managed to keep that under wraps by lying about it. And Ahsoka, we knew about her too. So, I went into this episode, I saw the post on social media, I watched the previously on, and it begins with so much of Foggy's murder.
Yeah.
That I sat the entire episode waiting for it to end on Foggy is alive.
That's a cliffhanger for the season. Come on now.
Maybe. But it just felt like in this episode, it felt so like they were teeing that up to be priming us for the finale. And I don't think you're wrong. I think that the source material and the framing of the season, all roads point to Foggy Nelson is alive. But the way that the previous one teed it up, I initially was like, well, thanks. I know some people were probably, watching TikTok when Foggy got shot and they needed to be reminded that he was dead.
Yeah.
But cool, great, love it. Thanks. I'm glad I have the wind taken out of my sails for this reveal. But it ended up having the inverse effect. That the whole time I'm like, okay, we're gonna get the thrilling upshot of Foggy is alive.
Nope.
Oh, no, nothing. Oh, fuck, it was Vanessa. Why was it Vanessa? And then we know from the comics, So that was a fun, I don't even want to call it a bait and switch, because bait and switch implies intent. And I don't know if I can put that level of intent on the previously on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel like that is rampant speculation at that point on my end. But I still found myself going, okay, well played. I pearl clutched preemptively. But no, aside from that, this episode was fucking incredible. And, the folks who were brought in after the retooling of the show, I don't know how much sauce the previous leaders on this series had. And I don't know how much of it maybe made its way onto the cutting room floor. What I do know is that these guys get it and have found a way to frame Daredevil action on screen the way it feels in the comics.
Yeah,
you know, we're like, because so much of like Daredevil storytelling in comic book media, it's all people, and I don't want this to sound dismissive or as though like I'm taking the piss out of people for this, because like the visual language is important, but it always has this vibe of like who can out gimmick who with how we present Matt's powers.
Yeah.
Again, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's crucial if you're going to tell a story with this character, you need to introduce ways of depicting his point of view.
Have we seen the world on fire since that episode?
I don't think
that kind of sucks.
It does suck. It does suck, but I don't mind it because of the way these guys shoot Daredevil action in general. The weird angles, the aspect ratio changes, the crazy lenses, like all of that makes for so much of like, okay, so we can't do just like radar splash panels every couple of pages like that. But what we can do is like fuck with perspective so much and like almost like create like a cinematic synesthesia of like making the visual feel like the cone of hearing.
Yeah, with the pullback.
Yeah, like it almost feels like it's like becoming like a cylinder.
Cylindrical was the
cylindrical. Thank you. It's becoming cylindrical. Like the visual is becoming cylindrical in the same way that like how it feels to like kind of peer around and listen to something specific in a crowded room. Like that is just there's just so much sauce. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's so much personality here.
Also, a little bit of Defenders in here. Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the purple and the red. Little Defendery. Because that show did it where it's like, hey, it's Jessica Jones, everything's purple. Here's Matt, everything's red. Here's Luke Cage. I was going for Iron Fist. I completely forgot his name. I was gonna say Finn Jones, but who was Danny Rand? Everything's yellow and green. Like his Luke Cage, everything's yellow.
Yeah. And yeah, so like that in and of itself was just so thrilling and exciting. And I love that like that specifically only does happen when Matt's in the room. Like whenever Matt's in the room and he's like and it comes with a sense of foreboding. I think that as exciting as some of this really cool as exciting as how some of this really cool visual language is, I think it would A, get old fast, and B, not feel as special if it was not kind of limited to the moments where Matt has to like act with immediacy.
Yeah.
Like
I say it's reminiscent. It's the exact same thing they do with Tom Holland in No Way Home. When Norman's about to attack, you just get that. It's like the focus shift because their focus is shifting as well. I love it. I adore it.
Yeah. Like they do that vertigo zoom and like him like walking around the apartment in that weird like almost second person point of view.
So good. So good.
It's remarkable. It's so good. And yeah, just that alone just puts this episode so up for me. But kind of going back towards the beginning of it, also disclaimer, I kept calling Heather Kirsten, I think, in the last episode. And recently I was flipping their names around. But either way, I think it's really fascinating watching Matt kind of like, I've used the term like relapsing on being Daredevil a few times. And
it's accurate though. The man is having a
it is. I was kind of shocked and astounded by like how quickly he's lost control of the balance between the two. You know,
that's always the problem with addicts, right? When you're that hooked on something, it's always the fight is to keep it off. You stop that fight, and it's just instantly, well, you instantly fall back into it.
But I just think it's really interesting that like while there have been points in Matt's life, both in the source material and this iteration of Matt Murdock, where he's done a pretty good job at, Daredevil at night, Matt during the day, his rapport with Foggy for the brief moment we have of Foggy going, hey man, like this is a Matt issue. This is not a Daredevil one. This is something I need Matt for, not the other guy. Watching that come crashing down way faster than it normally does for him at the same time that Wilson Fisk is like he's also relapsed into being the Kingpin, but like he is married Mayor Fisk and the Kingpin so well.
Yeah.
He has let them become one unabashedly in a way that Matt is now quite literally fighting for his life to do. And that is just that is really fun to watch. And I'm really excited to see how that develops into season 2. Especially, again, I don't want to talk too much about it because spoilers, but like the things we've seen for season 2, kind of trickling out in set photos as they're in production currently, are really intriguing. Especially for like how much is going on with Matt Murdock and how is he able to, kind of strike the balance here between the two identities. So that's something I really appreciated. I also, God, the fucking Bullseye stuff, the Matt and Bullseye stuff, the Bullseye stuff. I think
Matt's fault that he got out.
Yeah.
If he hadn't loosened that tooth, he wouldn't have gone. What?
He wouldn't have hucked to it his way out of
prison. I was gonna go there, but I thought I'm better than that.
I'm not.
No.
But
I was waiting for a good.
No, I got
how loud that.
Like, sorry, I didn't realize how loud that was. I apologize. That was toothache. I was trying to like cool my gums down there.
I was like, he's going for the bit. I'm proud of this.
Yeah, I was going on the fucking floor. But I apologize for that gross ass noise if it was that loud to the audience. Little swishel to cool my painful tooth down. But
so I just spit it in someone's face, it'd be fine. The tooth, Dave. Just
yeah, but I also love like there's also so much with like the colors that I love. That if Daredevil is characterized by these shades of red, it's passion, and it is for Matt, it is him trying to balance that passion. It is him trying to keep it in check. It is a man, it's a Doctor Who quote, good men don't need rules. Yeah. Matt Murdock is the good man, is the chaotic man who wants to be good enough to not have rules, who understands that he needs them. And that in and of itself is compelling. But like, again, it's like all of the reds, all of the fiery passion of him trying to like walk the line of Daredevil in the most healthy way he possibly can for himself. Especially on the heels of the fact that, the reason he gave it up was Foggy died and he tried to kill Poindexter, tried to kill Bullseye. So that's compelling. And then you factor in all of the pristine whites of Wilson Fisk. Everything is so clean and, it speaks to his, compulsive need for order and control and, his own version of balance. That's why I don't think it's an accident, if I can get a little English teachery here, that Fisk right now is arguably at the height of his power ever. And he shows up in all white. It is all the pristine white. because now Mayor Fisk and Kingpin get to be one and the same.
And it's Vanessa all in red.
And there's Vanessa all in red. There's that passion again, that she is. What?
Bang, bang.
Well, yeah, but I just, yeah. But I didn't understand what you said before you started making gun noises, and then you just.
That's what I did. I went pew pew.
Bang bang bang.
I did something. I was like, yeah, because she's bang bang pew pew.
Yeah, bang bang pew pew. But I think that you also get the blues with Bullseye. Where you see that with him, there, like, where Matt is full of passion, with him there is like he is serene and he is clinical and he is devoid of passion in his violence. And just like the way all of those colors kind of represent so much in the narrative, I find really compelling. And it's something that I kind of want to come back to rewatching this season at some point, is like, I want to see more of the colors,
This
like the
first
way
time they've actually used it this season, isn't it?
That blue, like,
or just the colors in general.
I mean, in this episode, it's mostly Fisk and Bullseye. It's mostly Kingpin and Bullseye. It's just that, like, Matt is just so closely associated with the color red because of the suit and the intro and the logo, the original intro, I should say, and the logo, that, like, if you ask, like, hey, what if I'm going to say a superhero, you tell me a color, I say Daredevil, you say red. You know what I mean? But, like, I do think that, he's bleeding and it's like pouring out of him. Like, I think there's a lot of visual language that I really like in this season so far. I also like seeing Matt off his game, just how little pressure it takes from the Fisks to make him fully just stop making sense. Because, like, we, the audience, know that his deranged behavior we're seeing from him right now is justifiable. He is also being incredibly sloppy, incredibly reckless nonetheless. Heather has every right to be like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, I am no longer angry with you. I am professionally, as a psychiatrist, concerned. And that, I think, is really interesting, because you get him, going to the prison to visit Bullseye because he asked for him, which sets up, like, one of the moments I loved so much in the episode. But that conversation where Matt just, does, you said, like, he beats him and, dislodges his tooth. I can't say the same. I'm pretty sure I chipped an already fucked up tooth while eating pretzels. Nothing anywhere as cool as getting punched in the face by Daredevil. But just that face slam, it's like, dude, you need intel. You need intel. You need to negotiate with him. Even if he won't give it to you, what you're doing is sloppy. And now it's gotten people killed. And I think it puts Matt in an even more compelling conundrum as Daredevil, where it goes, okay, you decided that you were no longer worthy or capable of being this hero because of the way you lashed out and tried to kill Bullseye. You failed. Bullseye is still alive. You walked away. You came back, and because you were gone for so long, you're off your fucking game. That you set the table for Bullseye to get out. So not only, and I obviously, as a person, wouldn't blame Matt for Foggy's death, but I think in his own mind, you got Foggy killed. You got Foggy killed. Then you walked away, and because you walked away, other vigilantes had to pick up the slack. And now the White Tigers and the Swordsmans and the Hawkeyes and the Spider-Mans and the Punishers are, catching flack from a guy whose main beef is with you. And now you're back and you're out of practice. And this teenage girl almost died. And your girlfriend almost died. And now, because you're sloppy, because all Fisk had to do was waggle a little bit in front of your face, you let Bullseye get away. And now he's back. Because not only did you let him get here in the first place by, again, getting Foggy killed, you fucked up in trying to kill him. You know, like I think it creates this kind of like super conducting loop of reasons for him to blame himself for what's happening. That's so tragic, and it's so Matt Murdock.
Oh, 100%, yeah, absolutely. My favorite thing about the sloppy part though is where he walks out of Josie's.
Yep,
and she's just like, he didn't use his cane. There's that one little bit. I don't know if they actually ever focus on it or if you see him not use his cane as he's walking out of there, but it's just that one little bit like,
yeah, he just shoots up out of his chair, walks right out, like he power walks out of the building, and then there's Charius being like, I didn't notice.
No, I adored this episode. I couldn't tell you where it is with like the other seasons because I haven't watched them in so long, but having only watched it like an hour ago, it's up there. It's definitely up there. It felt like old Daredevil. It felt like a new take on a Daredevil. But just even just the way it was structured, you saw a little bit of Matt falling apart, you saw a little bit of Fisk falling apart, and it all kind of just balanced itself together. Fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. And like I was saying with their conversation, you know, that moment with Bullseye where he's like, that's what good men like you do, right? You protect your enemies, you defend your enemies.
And what happens at the end?
And yeah, like it's one of those like, it's one of those instances. I've said this 1,000 times. And I'll say it until I die. I don't care if I see something coming. I don't care if it's predictable. The moment Bullseye set up shop with that sniper rifle and started like training on any of the Fisks, I knew Matt was going to jump in front of that bullet.
100%, yeah.
You know, I don't care if it was telegraphed. That was the point. You know, like it was such a good payoff because it does speak to the fact that like on some level, I'm so sorry if anybody heard me burp.
Man's making all the noises tonight.
I know, I'm so disgusting today. But it is, you know, I think on some level, if Bullseye's life was on the line, I do think Matt would save him. We see him do it. We see him do it at the beginning of the season. You know, I think right now Matt is like, you know, I think he's off balance. He wants to get to the bottom of this badly enough that like he doesn't really care about what's going on with Bullseye. But like if roles were reversed and he saw Kingpin, you know, getting ready to like, you know, aim a gun at him, I think he would. I think he's more inclined to save Bullseye to make good on his sin of trying to kill it. And I just find it's just so fucking compelling. And I also do want to double.
Just trying to think. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's going to be the point at the end of the season or next season, depending on what happens with next week. But I think it'll be close, I reckon.
Time will tell with that one. I do want to double back. I loved your theory last week about Heather becoming the next Muse.
It's right there. It's teed up.
It's getting teed up really well right now.
Bitch just looks at the camera. I get it. Like, okay. No.
And well, because it starts with her trying to like infantilize him and try to like, you know, I think it's on some level reclaim herself, you know, by going like, no, Daredevil didn't save me. I shot that motherfucker 3 times. And I also think, and I don't know what
poor Matt, by the way.
Poor Matt, by the way. I will say, I don't know what to make of this, but again, in the way that everything that happens for Matt Murdock is happening to Wilson Fisk. Matt's romantic partner kills the Muse and effectively fulfills an objective that he has made a promise not to take his life. And I think it's clear during that fight that Matt is doing everything in his power to defeat Muse without killing him. Because I think he could have. I think he easily could have.
100%, yeah.
You know, I think these are one of those situations where the no-kill rule is very much a hindrance, because there comes a point in a fight where it's easier for me to go for a kill shot than it is to incapacitate you. So there's that. And I think that is immediately then reflected in Vanessa kills Adam on Fisk's behalf. You know, I love that through line of it keeps like what happens over here is happening over here. That ripple is always felt down the line. But no, her outburst about Muse was good. You know, I also am really shocked. Coming back to what we said last week, that Heather has not just gone, motherfucker, you're Daredevil.
She's kind of dumb, yeah.
You know, again.
But then you're not going to get the scene, or you wouldn't have got this scene this week where it's the two of them about to reveal what the other one doesn't know.
Oh, for sure. And I don't mind that. Again, like sometimes characters make suboptimal decisions. It's not bad writing. It's humanity. And I don't begrudge the show for having her not go, motherfucker, you're Daredevil. I think it's compelling. I keep using that word, but I think it's really compelling that she doesn't. I think it speaks to her having a professional moment of denial.
Also, when you're too close to something, you lose the bigger picture, right?
Of course. Of course.
That's what humans do. We all do it.
Which also, speaking of that moment where Fisk is getting ready to tell Heather right before Bullseye shoots at him and Matt jumps in front of the bullet, my hair stood up. For that, you know, I even remember how he phrased it, but he's like, "I warned you, devil." Oh, fuck!
It's the best bit about
it's gonna be a big nut bust.
The best part about that for me is that he's not even talking directly to him because he knows.
He knows he can hear
This
it.
is like, I know you're listening to every word I say. So
he's hitting that little groove back to back with Vanessa.
I was waiting for him to bust out the old man.
It's so good. So fucking
good. Sensational. That's his word.
It's
such a brilliant beat. Oh my god. You know, and again, it is the way that, like, again, Fisk trying to balance Mayor Wilson Fisk with the Kingpin, Matt Murdock trying to balance Matt Murdock, attorney at law, and Daredevil, Man Without Fear, Devil of Hell's Kitchen. Like, he's trying, like, both of them are trying so hard to balance this at the same time that they're trying to contain somebody who is not interested.
Yeah.
Line with Bullseye. Both of the Fisks and Matt, both. I've tried so hard to either rein him in, make him work for them, defeat him, lock him away, do everything they can in their power within the system that they operate in to make him not be this way. And he refuses to toe the line in the way that both of them do. And both of them paid dearly for it.
Yeah.
And I love that. Again, they are both doing the same shit the whole time. The duality of Wilson Fisk and Daredevil has been so fucking stellar. It has been such an amazing through line for this show, and I've loved every second of it. I have loved every second of it. You know, because like part of me resents framing them as like equal opposite forces. You know, because I like Fisk to have so much power. I love him to be so fucking untouchable. You know, I like that's the way I like my Kingpin. You know, I like it when he is just on another level and Matt has to like throw stones at him long enough for Fisk to deign to come down to his level so that Matt can get a few licks in physically, literally, metaphorically, and philosophically, you know,
spiritually.
I just did a knowledge fight joke politically by accident. But like, so that's what I like to see, that rapport with the character. I like for that to be his whole vibe. You know, it's why I love that opening prologue to the Insomniac Spider-Man game so much. I love how much weight is put on this is a once in a lifetime shot at Fisk. And we cannot afford to miss. And that the entire fallout of that game is because the power vacuum he leaves behind is immeasurable. It's just, but like I said, they managed to do it here, and I love that it is not in terms of their power and influence. It is in their struggle to balance persona and ego and alter ego. Like that has been so fun to watch. And
part of me wants to say that Fisk isn't balancing it; he's merging it. I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
Really
yeah, that's the thing. As I think he finished. I don't say he finished his arc, but like he learned that lesson. It's like they have to coexist. I can't have 1 foot in the Mayor Wilson Fisk kiddie pool and 1 foot in the Kingpin pool. You know, and like kind of jump back and forth between them. I need to dump both pools into one bigger pool and jump the fuck in. You know, I have a whole paramilitary force now at my beck and call who are like disappearing and beating the shit out of people. You know, like with impunity. Matt has to figure out how to do his version of that. And before it's too late. And it's getting late. It's getting late. Sun's getting
very
low.
late. Wow, what a throwback! Wow.
Right?
But that gonna be Matt's final line to Kingpin. No. Hey,
Sun's
big guy.
getting real low, big guy. Oh man, God. part of me is like, part of me wants to watch all of the Daredevil should be dark and gritty. People freak out over that.
I mean, he would do like a primal scream straight afterwards to really drive home that it's Daredevil. Whether it's because his ribs broken or not, we don't know. That he has not laid on a couch in injury once this season, and I really appreciate that.
I
There's
appreciate
still time,
that,
obviously.
And you know what? This next episode, I think he's earned it. I think he's earned some couch time after getting shot.
But depending what happens, but
of course. But yeah, you have any thoughts on this episode?
What's that?
Did you have any other thoughts on this episode?
I just loved it. It's easily the best one in this series. Easily.
I think I'm with you on that. I think I'm with you on that so far.
And I really hope they carry on with like the framing and like the pullbacks, the colors, like just have that be. And also, I hope other shows learn from this season. Like have play about with how it looks. Don't have everything be flat. No.
Yeah, absolutely. But
no, great stuff. Fantastic.
Wonderful. I
can't wait to see how he's literally born again.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how they make Wilson Fisk earn being fat.
Easy. Got cheated on.
Listen, okay, guys, we got to fucking stop. By the way, I made the joke and I was like, I don't think people are gonna understand that I'm being ironic when I say that. It is perfectly normal for a superhero story to build to the final suit. And the amount of people who have done this, like they have to earn the thing.
I think it's normal because they've made it the norm.
But it's not though.
But it is.
It really isn't. It really fucking isn't.
It is. We had 3 Spider-Man movies where that was literally the case.
Sure. But to say that, you also have to ignore the fact that the Homecoming suit was the best Spider-Man suit in live action until the final swingsuit.
I mean,
and then they just
I
peeled
got
it
it
off
right
the
there.
comic
Like, of
book
course, it's the
page.
best one. It's the best one even now. I can't point it properly.
Like, you know, like
the Hoko suit.
I don't know. The whole like they have to earn the suit, they have to earn the thing. I think people have made too much hay out of that. And it's one of those like I don't want
She-Hulk does it. Like it's the plot of Iron Man, literally, down the final suit. I'm trying to think, Daredevil season 1 did it.
Yeah, but even Daredevil season 1, it's him building towards understanding the power of the symbol.
I mean, sure. It's just
not
very.
He has to earn it. I don't think it's been done like maybe once or twice.
I literally just named you like 4 things.
But I don't think it's the same as earning it. I think it is a payoff. I think it is building to like them accepting the identity and like choosing the path fully. But like again, like what's the earn it quote from? That's for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? When Sam, who's been rejecting being Captain America this whole time, recognizes how.
I mean, that's even another one, right? They even said Sam for the movie, who has to earn the shield. Like he had to earn that thing twice.
I think that was a weird miscommunication for Brave New World. I think they meant like this is going to be his first like big fucking challenge.
I mean, sure, but that movie was kind of very much the same arc for Sam as Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I see what you mean. I disagree, but neither here nor there. Either way, I'm getting they had to earn the thing jokes are becoming one of my like people oversimplifying somehow Palpatine returned. It's becoming one of my new like you guys are.
How do you oversimplify that?
People saying that like
sentence, like it's already oversimplified anyway.
Well, I'm saying that the way that people talk about that moment in the film, that's the only explanation we get. When, like, that's patently untrue. That is patently untrue about the text of the film. That because when Poe says, even in that scene, when Poe says somehow Palpatine returned, people say that is all they say about Palpatine, like, returning. And that is immediately followed by Beaumont Kin going, cloning, dark science, secrets only the Sith knew. Palpatine saying, I've died before. We see the vat of all the clones. We see Palpatine talking about possessing other bodies. Like, they spell it out in the fucking film. We don't have the nitty gritty as to like what was the cloning process? Why are the bodies decaying? How long has this been the case? How long has this been his plan? Like, sure, like there are other details we don't know, but it is laid out in the fucking film. You can say you don't like the decision. You can say that it's haphazard. You can say that it should have been set up in the other 2 films, and that's fine. I won't even disagree with you. But to say somehow Palpatine returned is the only explanation in the movie is patently fucking untrue.
But that's not a person problem. That's a movie problem. That is a dialogue and a scripting issue. When you start
that's people not paying attention.
Look, Jarod, if your first thing is somehow this happened, that's all anyone's gonna fucking remember. Everything else you just yapping. That is
but it's not the first thing. The movie opens with Kylo Ren on Exegol. It opens with the fucking cloning vats, and it being all decrepit.
Yeah, but that's not saying it doesn't. It doesn't matter.
You're telling me tell, don't show is the preferred method of conveying plot?
I mean, it's a Star Wars movie.
God damn it! Plug your fucking channels. I can't stand you.
Yes, you can. Can lie to yourself, but not to me.
Tell the people where they can find you, motherfucker.
You can find me in the Mitch692 channel, where you can also find Jarod for Pro and Noob. We are halfway through Cowboy Bebop as of the Monday after this, guys. Is this out on the Friday?
This will be out on Sunday, so this will be the day before the next Bebop Pro and Noob comes out.
So tomorrow, as you're watching this, I've got right itchy snaz. Pro and Noob. I have a couple of other things.
You're never beating the allegations.
What allegations?
of just being like terminally British. I got a right,
From an itchy nose.
I got a right itchy schnauzer, dude. Like you fucking
I
just
didn't
said
even say
that.
schnoz. I said nose. Wow,
I heard
so
schnoz.
racist. This is why we are laughing at your downfall. No. Should have stayed a colony, motherfucker. That's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, motherfucker, you said I
Tariff
got a
on
right.
you and your entire bloodline.
Listen, I got a right itchy nose is still damning. All that was missing was a govna and a tea sip at the end.
I will not be profiled by an American. Honestly. The shit I have to put up with. Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow. You'll never see me again.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
I think that's the first time it's been used for me, not for you.
I think so. Here, let me see. That's how you want to play it. This is how you're actually feeling on the inside.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's every time someone posts in the Facebook group about a British thing. No.
Hey, I get it. I get it. All my friends constantly like to just. In my friend group, and all the stories I've told about my friends and the town I grew up in, I have single-handedly replaced Florida Man with people just saying, "Oh, they're definitely from Latrobe."
Wow.
They don't even acknowledge the fact that I live in Pittsburgh. They're like, "Oh yeah, down in Latrobe." I'm like, "No, nope."
Are you from Latrobe though?
That was my hometown. No, I live in Pittsburgh.
Though.
I know, but like but they'll send like a meme of like, "Oh hey, look at this look at this crackhead like bumping and grinding on a fire hydrant," and they're like, "Oh, gotta be Latrobe."
I mean, it sounds about right.
Okay, all right. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on all of the social medias at Nerd Academy Pod or Nerd Academy Podcast or TNAP 2020. Just look up the Nerd Academy podcast. Like I said, Star Wars Celebration coverage, Andor coverage, Daredevil finale talk, all coming soon to the channel. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. Be sure to check out Pro and Noob. Ionized Bastards. There will be a new episode out by the time you're seeing this. I am also recording my next Epic Confrontations match against Scotty Holiday, co-host of This Is the Way Seekers, and I plan on, respectfully, putting them in the fucking dirt. I have some shit I got to get off my chest at Epic Confrontations this weekend.
Are you finally going to give Eli some shit for rigging everything?
I've always been giving him shit. Listen, I'll give you a little preview right now. We are coming up on a year.
Oh, wow.
Of Alden being the Epic Confrontation singles champion in the world. You want to know how many times he's defended that belt? None. He has not been challenged for his title once in a year. That is unfucking forgivable. And I'm not even saying that it has to be me.
You are, though, aren't you?
I'd like to. Of course I'd like to. Of course I'd like a shot at a title. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But look at all the other talented players who deserve, at the very least, a number one contender shot. Buck O'Brien. Jerry deserves another shot at it. Brennan Marr deserves another crack at it. Like, there are so many competitors in Epic Confrontations right now. Not even counting myself. Not like removing me from the equation. Who deserve a shot at Alden's belt. But they haven't gotten one. It's been a fucking year. It's been a year. Not a single title defense. And we're going in to the summertime where we're going to be doing the hyperspace gauntlet again. where I'll bet you dimes to donuts, and I'm sure Eli will change his mind when I voice these criticisms to him on Saturday night. But I'll bet you dimes to donuts he lets Alden compete in the hyperspace gauntlet again so that Alden can now have 3 defenses. So let's say I got to play him. Let's say I get to play him after the hyperspace gauntlet. Let's say Alden somehow wins the hyperspace gauntlet a second time in a row, which I'm sure could never happen. I'm sure that there wouldn't be a shitty call from Eli that could give Alden the bragging rights of clearing a table.
This is why you haven't won.
But let's say Alden somehow wins the hyperspace gauntlet again. That means let's say Buck plays Alden. Buck beats Alden. Alden from the last hyperspace gauntlet then gets to immediately rematch. And if he were to lose that second time, he then gets to rematch again. I will bet good money that Eli is going to let him play unless we can convince him not to let Alden play in the hyperspace tournament. Because it's Alden's match. It's Alden's league. It's Alden's league. He said it himself. I'm the game. Since Eli lets him be that way. But hey, what do I know?
If it wasn't Alden, it'd be you. Let's be honest.
I'd be open to all comers. Of
course you would.
It's not about me. It's about the love of the game. I get to be at the top of the mountain. I'll be gracious about it. I get to be at the top of the mountain. I want to put other people over. I want to help bring more people into the league. Build it. Alden just wants his little fiefdom. I'm not going to allow that shit. How about you step in the ring, Mitch?
No. Talk about fucking Star Wars now, pass.
How about this? Next time Eli does an Inner Geekdom championship.
Maybe.
Or not championship, but exhibition match.
Maybe.
I'll get you in for that. But anyway, be sure to tune in for my match with Scotty Holiday on Epic Confrontations. Ionized Bastards Pro and Noob. Check out all the things. Thank you so much for watching. Mitch is an asshole and class dismissed.
This is Jay.
You're such a fucking douche. Holy shit. I was going to cut it off there. That is just so flagrantly disrespectful, not even to me as a person, but to my intelligence, Mitch.
But my thumb was
You're cocking your thumb more and more the more you're talking about it.
No, my thumb hasn't moved.
Yeah, okay, put those J's up and acknowledge me, okay? Acknowledge me.
The fact that you
move away from the cookie jar.